Hey everyone, Laura and Alvin, at Pup Dog and Puppy Training. I am using the least attractive angle of the training center so that I have the most attractive lighting. I'm sorry, you'll just have to deal with the air conditioning units and all the storage stuff and whatnot so that I look good. Training tip Tuesday. If your dog is afraid of something or reactive towards something or has behaved aggressively in some situation in the past, don't make them do it again. Sounds simple, but if your dog is afraid of crowds, they get really stressed out in crowded, busy environments, don't take them to a crowded dog event. If your dog is afraid of strangers, don't make strangers pet them. If your dog is aggressive or reactive or fearful around other dogs, don't take them to the dog park. It's possible that doing those things can be okay. Some people have been taught how to swim by being thrown into the deep end, and they literally sink or swim. Some people learn that way. But you run a significant risk of turning out like my mom, who was thrown into the ocean when she was about 6 and nearly drowned, and lives to this day with a fear of getting her head wet. She'll wash her hair in the shower, but she will never put this part of her body underwater. She can't do it. It's not fair and it's not safe. So it's not safe because putting your dog in stressful situations stresses them out, and dogs who are more stressed out are more likely to behave aggressively or to use aggression to try to make themselves feel safe. So you run the risk, let's say your dog is fearful of crowds and you take them to a crowded outdoor dog event with, hundreds of people and dozens of dogs. They might be okay, but they're walking around with their tail tucked and absolutely petrified and trying to run away the whole time, and you'll get used to it. Or for a split second you happen to be looking in one direction, someone else lets their dog wander up to yours and they go, this is the last straw, and then they use aggression, they aggress on the other dog, and then you have a fight on your hands. Or some totally well-meaning family comes up and goes, oh, your dog's so cute, they look just like our old dog, and then the kid gets bit in the face. Your dog may never bite, that's fine, but you're still putting them in a situation that they don't need to be in, and that's making the situation worse. Even if they don't bite someone else, redirected aggression. They are absolutely overwhelmed with something they find completely petrifying, and someone comes up to them, something happens, and they take it out on the thing that's closest to them. You, your leg, another dog who had nothing to do with it, a kid who had nothing to do with it, someone else's leg. They just reach the point where they can't take it anymore, and their body does what it does, and they freak out. And dogs have knives in their mouth, so when they freak out, it's not a good thing. So it's not safe. It's not safe for your dog or you or anyone else around them or anyone else's dog. 2, it's not helping. Practice makes perfect. If your dog goes to a crowded event and what they're practicing is being absolutely petrified and stressed out at a crowded event, next time you go to a crowded event, how do you think they're gonna act? It's not an act. They're going to feel legitimately stressed out and terrified because that was the experience they had last time. If every time you come up to me and say, hi, I spit in your face, if you come up, one, you're probably not gonna come up to me again if you had a choice, but if someone forces you to come up to me again, are you gonna feel excited about it? Is it gonna change the way you feel about me? Or are you gonna go, I hate this lady, she keeps spitting in my face? Practice makes perfect. If that is the association they're building with the experience, to be stressed out and terrified, then that's what they're gonna feel next time. They're not gonna magically go, oh, I feel good this time, because they felt horrible last time too. It's not gonna magically change. Flooding is what it's called when you force someone to face their fears, or you take a dog to class who's reactive or fearful of other dogs and parade them up and down the class and expect them to get used to it. It's exposing an individual, a subject, a cat, a dog, a person, to their trigger at an intensity that, the highest intensity you can, the intensity that elicits the response of fear and freaking out. So, in humans, sometimes this is used, exposure therapy, but the difference is, the goal of exposure therapy in humans is for the human to go, my fear is irrational, and therefore I don't need to feel that way. And then on top of it, we give them breathing exercises and, go to your happy place sorts of things so that they can calm themselves. They can cognitively choose to calm themselves and realize the irrationality of their fear. Dogs can't do that. Dogs cannot realize the irrationality of their fear. What they are feeling is real and legitimate, and dogs have no concept of irrationality. I think anyone who's ever lived with a dog would probably know this. They do what works for them and what helps them feel safe. And if trash cans are absolutely terrifying, it means trash cans are terrifying. They're not making it up. It's what their body is doing. And there's no way to scare a dog into realizing that their feelings are irrational, because that is a uniquely human, as far as we know, maybe whales, uniquely human ability. So, it's not something they can do. The goal isn't something that dogs could even achieve. But on top of that, they can't consent to it. So if I'm gonna use exposure therapy with Susan on her arachnophobia, I'm gonna say, okay, Susan, I'm shutting you in the closet, I'm pumping in the spiders, go to your happy place and use your breathing exercises. And then they come. I can't tell that to a dog. The dog will not know the difference between I'm actually dying and this is horrible, and this is just practice dying and horrible, and I can be calm through this. They don't know that. So not only will they be able to realize the irrationality of their fear, but they will think that they are dying, and it is a situation where they are in the physiological panic that they were in before. If you set up, here's the warning one, and then if you're gonna do that, you might as well just counter condition it. So it doesn't make sense to do to dogs. It can be horribly traumatic for humans and for dogs. And it's not humane. They can't consent to do that. They don't get a choice in it. And as far as they know, it's the real deal panic horribleness. So what do you do instead? Let's say your dog is terrified of crowded events. If it's important to you to go to crowded events, for whatever reason, then you can help your dog change the pattern of their associations. So practice makes perfect. If you want them to feel good at crowded events, then you have to find a place where they can feel good with just a taste of a crowded event. So maybe you go to, the dog party, but you don't go in the midst of it. You park and you get out of the car and you see some dogs and they go, okay, I can eat some chicken. This is cool. I see a dog, I eat some chicken. I see a person, I eat some chicken. And then you leave. Or they're afraid of strangers. Don't let anyone come over to your house. Or you insist, if they do interact with strangers, they're not interacting. If they do encounter strangers, the strangers are tossing food. So the dog gets to choose how close they want to be to the monster, and they get a say in it. They are going to go as close as they are comfortable going. They're not forced over the edge. If your dog is terrified of other dogs or reactive to other dogs, whether it's terror or something else, you're not going to just throw them into the middle of a dog park or in the middle of a class with a bunch of other dogs and strangers. You're going to find an environment where they can be exposed to dogs at a low enough intensity that they're not freaking out. I have a couple videos about this. It's counter conditioning. If they are below the freak out threshold, then they can think and they can function and they can do other things, and you can change their pattern of behavior rather than going monster, freak out, and then try to force them into a U-turn to feel better where they're really not. Or just monster, freak out, monster, freak out, monster, freak out, and there's nothing you can do about it. We're going monster, good stuff, monster, good stuff. And I won't get into that. I've got a bunch of videos about it. Don't force your dog to do stuff they don't like to do. If there's no reason for your dog to go to a crowded event, don't worry about it. They just don't have to go to crowded events. My mom has lived her whole life being afraid of putting her head underwater. It sucks, but she's still living a full life. I hate Welch's grape jelly. It makes me nauseous just saying the words, but I just don't eat it. That's it. I don't have to feel better about it. I just don't eat it. That's fine. There's no law that says your dog has to play with a bunch of other crazy dogs in an enclosed park. There's no law that says they have to be okay with fireworks or crowded events or strangers who all want to touch them on the head. If it's not something that's important to your life and their fear isn't interrupting their ability to live a normal, healthy life, or you, then leave it alone. But if it is interrupting their ability to live a healthy, normal life, address it, but address it humanely and according to best practices. Don't throw them in the deep end. It's not fair, and it breaks my heart. Let me know if you have any questions. Santa Paws are December 8th, 9 through 1, 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. You need to sign up for a 15-minute slot. It is appropriate for fearful and reactive dogs because we're not going to expose you to the things that make you freak out. So that's the point of the 15-minute slot. I'll have the info on that up. Classes will start again in January. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.